On a Wednesday morning, you know what to do. Tune into the podcast just for a few. I'll be your guide with tips for your trade. Business success, that's what we'll create. They call it private practice, a world of its own, where entrepreneurs thrive and dreams are grown. From marketing strategies to financial know-how, I'll share the secrets, come on and take a bow. Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast, where I'll help you thrive and we'll have a blast. Tune in every Wednesday, and you'll soon see your business success. It starts with me.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Storme. So pleased to be here after yet another mini getaway. It was 10 days in lovely Daylesford, and I've come back with so many new aha moments, breakthroughs, and all kinds of things. But today what I want to do is talk with you about boundaries, because for some reason it was something I struggled with when I went away this time. And I want to talk you through the process of what I did, like how I was feeling, what I did to course correct and get myself back on track with my boundaries, what boundaries look like for me in my business now. And I'm also going to give you a 5-step process that aligns with both the masculine and the feminine energy that you can use in your private practice to set boundaries. Now, just before we get started, if you're thinking about setting a boundary, but you're also kind of chickening out because maybe you've got fear around it and things like that, this is absolutely the bite-sized training for you. So you're going to get actionable steps today. You might want to bookmark this one if you're someone who does things like, I don't know, maybe is an over deliverer, maybe you're an overgiver, maybe you're very generous, go overtime with your clients, maybe a bit slack with chasing up payments, and maybe significantly undercharging for services, all those kinds of things. Maybe saying yes to everybody that wants to have a session because you're thinking, oh, I need the money and I need the clients and everything, but on the inside you're like, why did I say yes to this person? So let's get started. So yeah, I went away to Daylesford. As you know, I go away maybe 6-7 times a year for about 10 days. And it's something that I do to fill my own cup. It's my self-care. I like to get away, have space without distractions, without, my attention being pulled in a million different directions. And normally I'm pretty good at the disconnect, but for some reason this time when I was going away, I found it harder. And my business is entirely online, as you know, and many of my offers are either paid programs where I've got students or they're free communities and things like that. And what I noticed was before I went away, I was speaking with a new coaching client of mine and she was having some difficulties, and we were kind of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I just totally forgot about my boundaries, and we were still going back and forth very late into the night, the day before I went away. And so what I ended up explaining to her when I realized was, hey, I'm actually on leave now. And yeah, let's resume this when I get back. So, that was something that I did for myself. And it felt really good to put that boundary in place. And then I committed to not checking my emails while I was gone. So I deleted Gmail off my phone. I deleted my iCloud email off my phone. And I love doing that because I can't trust myself. If those apps are on there, I'm absolutely going to be checking things. And I should have thought about deleting Facebook and Messenger, but I didn't. And so what ended up happening was when I had quiet moments in my break, which you do, for me, that's the whole point of going away. I was sitting down at the beautiful Mill Market. I was waiting for my soup, and they do this really nice Moroccan pumpkin and sweet potato soup there. It's really, 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 really lovely, and they put like a dollop of cream on the top and everything. It's so beautiful, and you get it with sourdough toast, and it's all the butter's melted into the toast, and you get a wellness tea with it, and it was all just so beautiful. But I was sitting there nonetheless, and I was waiting for the food, and I didn't really have anything to do, so it was like boredom that done me in, as Eliza Doolittle might say. But I ended up looking at my phone, opened up Facebook, and as soon as I did, regretted it, because I found myself replying to comments. So even though I had let all my students know that I'm away and that I'm not available and I'll get back to them in 10 days, or even though I let my communities know, there was still so many comments, and there was still people private messaging me saying, I know you're away, but can you have a look at my draft? I know you're away, but can you give me your advice about what to do in this situation? I know you're away, but. And, I was, well, as I said, bored. I didn't have anything else to do. And in my head, I'm like, these people need help. So, of course, I start replying to comments and everything. And guess what happened from there? I felt good for a hot minute, because it's nice to help, right? I love doing that. But then after the soup arrived with my toast and wellness tea, and I had to put the phone down, I was like, oh no, why did I do that? Like, I've just told everyone I'm away and I'm not available, but here I am being available. And then anyway, the next day, of course, there was another moment of me not having anything to do with myself. It was idle time. I was again in a position where I was waiting for something, and I checked my Facebook again, and I checked my messages again, and there they were. And there were messages saying, I messaged you 2 times yesterday. Why haven't you replied? And stuff like this. And I found myself starting to get like hot and anxious, and then I was thinking, hey, come on, like, fair go, I'm trying to have a break here, and you know that I'm on break. Why you keep messaging me all these messages? So then anyway, I ended up just like reiterating to people, look, I am on break and I am going to step back. And I was so lucky, because I have a beautiful soul that is a coach in some of my communities and groups, and I just reached out to her and I said, hey, can you help me with this? And she was like, of course, I've got you, don't worry about it. You are to stay off Facebook and off Messenger for the rest of your trip. And I said, okay. And then it was such a relief to have her support. And anyway, but it kind of then felt weird, because I felt disconnected, which was, I know, the whole point of going away. But then I kind of felt like, oh, what's happening in my absence? Does she know how to handle this or handle that, or respond to this or respond to that? What support is she needing from me right now? Blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, my head was kind of off in that space. This is day 3. And then day 4, I said to myself, okay, you're not going to access any of your social media today. And then I couldn't do it. So I told myself, just check for 15 minutes, choose a time in the middle of the day, and then support yourself by putting a little timer on the phone. So that's what I did. I said, at 12 noon, I'm going to check everything, but I won't reply. I'll just go in and look. I'll just be an observer. I'm not going to answer anything. I'll just be an observer and make sure everything's okay. And so I told myself I was going to set my alarm for 15 minutes while I did this task. Now, as luck would have it, I was on a bit of a treasure hunt, and I was driving all around Ballarat and Malden and Bendigo and all the places on my little treasure hunt. And I got so distracted that 12 o'clock came and went, and I didn't even check, right? It wasn't until about 8:30, 9 o'clock that night, while I was sitting down by the fire in my beautiful accommodation, under the light of the moon out on my where the decking is, there's all these beautiful double doors that open up, so you can sort of be inside, outside. It's one of those types of deals. Anyway, it was really, really lovely. And I'm out there with my glass of wine, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll just check. And then I told myself, just do it for 15 minutes. I did it for 15 minutes, and then I was like, do you know what? That was absolutely fine. And then I said to myself, do it again tomorrow, just 15 minutes, But the next day came, and I thought, do you know what? I'm not even going to check it. So I didn't check it. And it was the first day of my break that I actually had a break, if you know what I mean. And it felt really, really good. And then I said, well, I'm not going to do it the next day either, or the next day, or the next day. And so I didn't. And I came back on, I turned the computer back on Monday. So yeah, and it felt so good. Like, there were hundreds of emails to go through, but to be honest, most of them were spammy emails from things I've downloaded that I'm now on people's email list. So I spent some time yesterday unsubscribing from things. But that was really great. And then I came back into the communities and everything had gone swimmingly well. I was so thankful, so happy, so pleased. But came away with a big lesson around boundaries. I'm not sure why it was such a problem for me this time, but I thought, nope, there's a lesson in here. And also, let's not forget, we are in the full moon at the moment, which is about letting go of things. So I want to let go of the need to be everything to everyone, of us over giving, of us going overtime with sessions, of us over delivering, of us, feeling unsafe to step away from our business. And so I've put together a 5-step strategy that you can use to create some boundaries around your business. And as I said, I'm all about mind, business, spirit. And of course, these are rooted in the masculine and the feminine. So as we go through each one, have a think for yourself. Is this divine masculine, or is this one divine feminine? And let me know one way or another. You can send me an email or connect with me on social media, because I am checking it now. what you thought. Okay, so step 1 is to define the boundaries in the first place. So really clearly identify any non-negotiables for you. So is it going to be a session time? And maybe you're going to put a boundary around client expectations. That's really important. Or something like me, like boundary around self-care needs. So choose your non-negotiable limits. And the reason that you want to do that is because this is a really assertive thing to do, and it's quite an action-oriented step to take, okay? Giving you some clues there about whether that was masculine or feminine, right? Did you see what I did there? But I'm not going to go easy on you on the next 4. Step 2, surrender and trust the process. This requires to allow yourself to receive the support of your boundaries. It also requires you to trust that setting and honoring these limits will serve not only you, but also your clients that come through the business, right? Whether they're clients that you see, in person in real life, or they're online clients, or they're students or members of your memberships and things like that. Step 3, communicate your boundaries and do it with confidence, okay? So communicate your boundaries quite clearly, and there's no need to apologize for them, okay? In fact, you'll probably find, as I did, that when you do communicate your boundary and you say something like, I'm going away, this is my act of self-care over here, you'll probably find that you've got a lot of people that say, go for it, enjoy your break, we don't expect to see you, we don't want to see you or hear from you, go, go, go. Okay, by being quite direct and being quite brave like this, it's really something that allows that clarity to come through for both you and the business and the client, right? Step 4 is to, hold your boundaries compassionately, okay? So gently but firmly, with love, enforce your boundaries when or if needed. Okay, and you can do this by infusing any conversations around it with compassion, right? Compassion for the other person, self-compassion for you, understanding, and of course, patience. Step 5 is to review and refine how it went for you when you did enforce a boundary or set a boundary or uphold a boundary, right? Regularly review your boundaries. It's always something to do. And do you know what? Sometimes you'll never even realize that you don't have one until something unwanted happens, right? It'll be that client that keeps emailing you really long emails. It'll be that client that keeps calling you all the time. And it's almost as if you feel like you're ending up giving them free counseling over the phone instead of them coming in and having a paid session with you. Or maybe it's something like me, being able to disconnect and allow yourself to really have some downtime away from the business, okay? But doing something like this, it's not only analytical, but it's, again, another goal-oriented step that's going to support you in the business, okay? So guess what I want you to take away from this super short episode today is that setting boundaries is a practice, and it's not something that you're just going to do once. It's a practice, and I would recommend, if you're feeling nervous about putting them in place, maybe start with something small and build the muscle, okay? It's just like you can't go to the gym and expect to bench press, 200 kilo or whatever it is. You can't expect to diet for a day and lose 10 kilos. It's not going to happen. You have to do things slowly and over time. Let your energy adjust, let your mind adjust, let your spirit adjust, let your business adjust, let your clients adjust. So start with something small first. But yeah, setting boundaries is a practice that you engage in for you, for them, and for your business, right? It's not something you just do one time. If you want to get some more quick tips, and these Wednesday episodes are, just too far apart, you need something else in between, head over to my Facebook business page, because I'm doing 90 videos. I think I'm up to, I don't know, I want to say about 30 videos now. I've still got a lot to do. I just put it in my head that I was going to do 90. Business happens in 90-day cycles. So every day I go on and I do a 5-minute little video where I'm either answering one of your questions or sharing a tip, a tool, a resource, things like that, okay? So if you're ready to try and reclaim some of your time in your practice, or your energy, or maybe even just the joy again in your work, this is your invitation to try the boundary setting process that I've just provided you with, okay? The 5-step strategy. And yeah, if there's anything else you need at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope that this was a helpful episode. Much love. Talk to you soon. Bye.
On a Wednesday morning, you know what to do. Tune into the podcast just for a few. I'll be your guide with tips for your trade. Business success, that's what we'll create. They call it private practice, a world of its own, where entrepreneurs thrive and dreams are grown. From marketing strategies to financial know-how, I'll share the secrets. Come on and take a bow. Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast, where I'll help you thrive and we'll have a blast. Tune in every Wednesday, and you'll soon see your business success. It starts with me.